Fist of the North Star tells the story of a world consumed by war and annihilation, bringing calamity upon its inhabitants. Nuclear disaster has polluted the earth, forcing people to live in a primitive setting, allowing for evildoers to conquer the land as kings. This time came to be nicknamed the Age of Power, where the weak suffer by the hands of tyrannical martial artists. Amidst this chaos lies a sacred assassination art known as the Fist of the North Star, which reigns superior to all fighting styles. Kenshiro has been selected as the 64th successor of the North Star school, but his fiancée Yuria is taken away by Shin, a practitioner of the Fist of the South Star. Meanwhile, Kenshiro's elder brother, Raoul, has branded himself as the King of Fists, who wishes to reign as the world's supreme ruler. After being defeated by Shin, Kenshiro bears 7 scars representing the Big Dipper, thus commencing his destiny to bring freedom and to save his love Yuria. Accompanied by Rei, a South Star user, they both travel the wasteland in search of those who stole their happiness. Staining their fists with blood, these manly men shall fight with a storming rage capable of bringing further destruction. It is their destiny to battle, yet tragedy awaits Kenshiro as his role as the end of the century savior has only begun. To many people, this movie served as their first introduction to the manliness that is Fist of the North Star, a film filled with outrageous muscular men, gory violence, and lots of fighting. Manly! For the longest time, the film has been a bit of a cult hit, simply because of its savage action. But it wasn't until recently that the movie started to earn an honest criticism. Much of the problems came from the English dub, as it has a very loose translation, making certain themes being replaced with the script focus on the conduct of a martial artist. While Fist of the North Star certainly carries discipline of the traditional story of a student, a mentor, and an evil brother, there's more to it than that. Another reason why the movie didn't earn much praise is the lack of information, as those unfamiliar with either the manga or anime can feel a bit lost, especially with the movie's conclusion. The moral of the story basically consists of anti-war, but also carries a theme of natural preservation, as the Earth's current condition was caused by the series' fictional nuclear World War III. Another message generally found in the series is the concept of standing up for yourself, but also for other people. In a setting that expresses survival of the fittest, many people are forced to live in fear and can only survive with the aid of a greater power. Therefore, it is the duty of the North Star successor and practitioners of the South Star to help people in these troubled times. However, characters like Shin, Jaggi, and Raoul forsaken their duty and instead became corrupted by this era. On an Earth which has regressed to a medieval setting, what value does honor have when any martial artist can simply live as a king or dictator? Why should the strong protect the weak when they can live in luxury, maintaining resources for themselves, thus ensuring their own survival? In short, to survive in this nuclear apocalypse, one must be strong and devoid of any human attachment, such as generosity or kindness. This is what Kenshiro's defeat represents, as heroic ideals alone won't protect those you love. To truly protect someone, you have to be powerful, and it may force you to become a violent savage. Kenshiro's struggle is to maintain his humanity and not give in to his anger, again reflecting the discipline of a martial artist, but also as a human being. Meanwhile, at the same time, Shin submits to his obsessive madness to protect Yuria because, as tragic and messed up the idea sounds, the sad truth is, power is absolute. If Kenshiro was not willing to become violent, then someone else would have either raped or killed her. Furthermore, it is Kenshiro's mercy that led Jaggi to further damage his life, emphasizing the only solution is to kill or be killed. The whole purpose of Kenshiro's character is to maintain the balance of being both virtuous and evil. Such examples include when he cures Airi from blindness or rescues villagers, but his anger gets the best of him as Kenshiro kills thugs with such cold brutality. When I hear people complain about the movie simply being a gore fest, I wonder how no one picks up these character dilemmas or the study of society. Much of these concepts are further explored in the Fist of the North Star anime and manga, which leads to a flaw in the structure of the film. For starters, the movie is not meant to be watched on its own, for it only covers a quarter of the entire Fist of the North Star series. Fist of the North Star originally began publishing in 1983 and earned an anime television series in 1984. Basically, neither the manga nor anime was completed when the movie was made. For the theatrical release, it was decided to make a shortened version of certain events of the series, being episodes 1 through 49. It wouldn't be until 1988 where the anime ended with 152 episodes. Since the film summarizes multiple story arcs, several changes are to be expected, ranging from rearrangement of scenes, different character designs, the absence of certain main characters, but most significant would be the lack of an ending. Despite these changes, the film works well as introducing someone to Fist of the North Star, but also encourages people to start the series from the beginning. Normally, an abridged film would serve to help the audience proceed forward, with the remaining material being episodes 50 through 152, but that's not the case with this movie. Since the 86 film has multiple changes, it requires new viewers to watch the scenes they missed. For example, Kenshiro's tragedy at the end of the Shin arc, which places him in a depressed state, but is then acquainted with Rei and Mamiya, who motivate him to keep living, thus re-establishing his duty as mankind's savior. Another example is the omitted character Toki, who is Kenshiro's older brother. Toki battles Rao in an attempt to teach Kenshiro his fighting style. Essentially, many key events vital for both future plots and characterization are only found in the anime and manga. Watching the movie on its own won't give you a conclusion, nor will it help you finish the series due to missing several facts for the story to progress. An easy example of this is a character Lin, who had this mysterious psychic link with Kenshiro, and the explanation for this, if any, wouldn't be revealed until episode 121. Other key events such as Musou Tensei or the Last South Star General wouldn't make sense by just watching the movie. The film's purpose seemed to simply act as a marketing tool to test the waters for new audiences in other countries, but also providing fan service to its fans. And by fan service, I'm not referring to the naughty stuff, but I'm speaking about the benefits for watching the movie. As I said many times already, the movie is different from its source material, but it excels in both visuals and action. Fist of the North Star is a shonen series, a story that is meant for people around the age of elementary and high school students, but of course, just about anything that's made in the 80s really pushes those boundaries, as the manga is filled with exploding heads, nudity, and really mature stuff, both mental and superficial. When the anime aired on television, it had a unique form of censorship, where the color of blood would be changed to either white, black, or sometimes use silhouettes or x-rays to hide the more gory content. But the censorships were sometimes inconsistent, as there would be fights where blood does come out red, or some scenes still look violent no matter how you try to hide it. What the movie does is remove the censorship, allowing for many kills of barbaric brutality. One of the most iconic scenes is Raoul's fight with the Fan Clan, where their leader would be crushing Raoul's soldiers or even taking a bite out of them. Manly! Another treat with the movie experience would be the increased quality of animation. The original anime had a decent budget by Toei standards, especially in those days, but would occasionally receive better animation for the more important episodes. Being blessed with the movie budget, the 86 film shows North Star looking at its best. Many of the character designs are drawn bigger and manlier than their television counterparts, thus resembling the artist's original artwork. Interestingly, it wouldn't be until 2006 where Fist of the North Star would look even better. So for 20 years, this movie offered the best animated visuals for Fist of the North Star. The last key difference the movie has over the anime would be its music, as it creates a completely different tone. The soundtrack has this subtle escalation to its music, as most tracks will begin rather slowly and gradually builds into this dynamic sound. Because of this soundtrack, most of the film carries this heavy atmosphere of imminent doom, which suits the more aggressive tone. But finally, there is one thing that stops the film in its tracks, being the ending. A lot of people complain about this, and it's understandable, but once again it goes back to saying that the movie is not the entire story. In the original series, this battle marks Kenshiro's first fight with Raoul, and they would face each other 2 more times, leading to only half the story. Afterwards, the tale is set in the land of Ashura, where Kenshiro battles against Demon Kaio, and after that, the series just kinda lost some of its luster. But the point is, the final battle is incredibly manly, but does feel anticlimactic. But did you know there's an alternate ending? The director, Toyo Ashida, felt the movie ended very unnaturally. So, there exists an alternate ending, bearing resemblance to the story arc it was based on. Sadly, this alternate ending has not been released outside of Japan. The current DVD release by Discotek does not have that alternate ending, but you can find the scene on good old YouTube. So to end this review, the Fist of the North Star 1986 movie is far from a perfect story, as some knowledge of the series is needed to understand its flaws. Most of the problems linger from its final scene and lacking some attention to Kenshiro's and Rei's motives. In short, to fully appreciate the Fist of the North Star lore, you would have to watch and read the series, as it introduces many new concepts outside of the movie, such as the Death Omen Star, the Six Sacred Fists, the unconscious transmigration, and a man embracing his role as the savior of the century's end. By watching this film, you have taken the first step into the apocalyptic wasteland that is Fist of the North Star.